class for 2023 coming up. They've done a lot in recruiting. They have currently the number 3 overall class. Alex Birchmeyer is a 5-star interior lineman. Javen Williams is a 4-star offensive tackle. They got a 4-star Tamarian Parker in the defensive lineman category from Phoenix City, Alabama. So they're going all over the map to get these recruits. But more so, let's look at what they brought in this past year, because they did sign a top 10 class. Dennis Sutton is a 5-star defensive lineman. Nick Singleton is a 5-star running back. They got a 5-star quarterback in Drew Aller. Drew Shelton is a 4-star offensive tackle. Caden Saunders is a 4-star wide receiver. So Penn State, especially on the offensive side of the ball, is stacking up big time. But the big question remains, can Penn State beat Ohio State this season? It seems like that is a game where every year Penn State gets off to a really hot start. Like, they don't lose more than maybe 2 or 3 games a year. Really count it more than a 9-3, right? There's a lot of hype around Penn State from my understanding. And it's not one of those where are they good enough to beat Ohio State. I think it's more so, is Ohio State too good that maybe they can't get them? Is Ohio State going to be that good of a team, right? And why Ohio State? Well, Ohio State is clearly the Big Ten favorite this year. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. I don't think there's a line out, but you notice the matchup predictor here is 82.9. You count at 83 and 17.1 for Penn State. Why Ohio State, though? That's the roadblock. It seems like, at least from what I've noticed, Penn State can do really well until they hit a roadblock with a team like the Buckeyes, and it kind of blows up in their face, and it kind of one domino effect, it kind of falls down from there. And I think that's the big game for Penn State. Now, they do have to go to Purdue week 1, so circle that, right? But let's say if they lose that, then they got to win out if they want to make it to the Big Ten title, win the East, playoff, blah, 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 right? All of that. They got to win out. Is this the year they beat the Buckeyes? Remember in 2016 with J.T. Barrett and the Buckeyes, and I'm trying to remember who Penn State had. Did they have Clifford at quarterback? They had somebody. It might have been Sean Clifford, because I think he's like a 5th-year, 6th-year senior right now. But remember in 2016, the last time they won that game, they weren't even on the radar. I mean, Penn State was just starting out with James Franklin, coming out of a bad era of Bill O'Brien. And it was one of those games in 2016 where it was just one of those upsets. It was their whiteout game. It was at night. It was Happy Valley. It was a loud white crowd in the stands of Beaver Stadium, and it rocked. And they beat the Buckeyes. A blocked field goal, Grant Haley scooped up to take it to the house. I remember watching that game on television. That was a great game. But since then, the Buckeyes have had the number with Penn State. In fact, let me pull that up. And we can look at their recent – so they're on a 5-game win streak. It's been 5 years, right? The game results, let me pull this up for you, the scores, because there's been a couple close games. But then I think Ohio State has had some blowouts, right? Or in some fashion. Okay, 24-21, October 22nd, 2016. Then the next year, 39-38, Penn State almost won. 27-26, 28-17 in Columbus, 38-25, 33-24. So, okay, yeah, for the most part, Penn State keeps it competitive. They just can't find the way to finish the game off. There's some mentality of Ohio State and Ryan Day, or even in the years with Urban Meyer, right? Ohio State leads the series 22-14. It's kind of close. Ohio State has won the last 5. At some point, I think Penn State's due for it. You know, when they won in 2016, they were on a 4-game losing streak to the Buckeyes. So, is this a game that needs to be circled on the calendar? Yes, it is. It is a game that needs to be circled on the calendar. Can Penn State handle it? Well, first off, what's it look like? What's their schedule look like? We've done the previews for the Big Ten. I think that going into that game, it's a tough stretch. I mean, you got to go to Auburn, you got to go to Purdue, you got to play teams like Northwestern, you got to play in Ann Arbor against the Michigan Wolverines, you got to play Minnesota. That's a home game. That's already scheduled for 6:30. There's a lot before that game happens. You know, Ohio State, they're looking to win the East. They're looking to get revenge on Michigan. You know, they're not looking for revenge over Penn State. Penn State's looking for revenge over Ohio State. But do you think Ohio State is looking too far ahead to Michigan, maybe? Maybe, maybe not. Ohio State opens with Notre Dame. They play Arkansas State. They play Toledo. They play Wisconsin. They play Rutgers. They play Michigan State. They play Iowa before Penn State. And they play Iowa literally the week before Penn State. That's a game I'd circle too. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for this. The Big Ten is going to be fun this year. Ohio State plays Notre Dame. Check. Iowa, you're talking about the team that won the West last year, that played Michigan, that could have their offense turned around. Check that one. And then week 7 or week 8, week 9, whatever it is. I think it's week 8. Let me see. Yeah, that looks about right. Week 8. Penn State hosting in Happy Valley, right? That might be their whiteout game. It might not. I'm not sure. But it is going to be a good game. That's the one I'm probably going to go live for on that week, because even if it turns out those teams aren't having good seasons, it's a great rivalry in the Big Ten East. It's a great matchup. It has potential. You know, I treat that game almost like I would the Iron Bowl, where anything could happen. Anything and everything, I should say. You know, but can Penn State do it? I think they bring a lot back on defense. You know, I think they bring a lot in. You know, Abdul Carter, Cam Miller, Driver is a safety. They got a 5-star quarterback backup. See, take notes from Alabama. Get your guy ready. If it's not working offensively with the quarterback, just put the backup in. Just put the backup in. Take notes. I mean, seriously. Nick Singleton is a 5-star running back. They've always had a good running back. Kevon Lee and Noah Cain transferred to LSU. I apologize. But Kevon Lee, John Lovett, Devin Ford, Taquan Robinson, Christian Velu. These are guys that could step up this year, you know, even though they're second or third string, you know, play as if you're a starter. Parker Washington comes back, Keandre Lambert-Smith, Theo Johnson, Kevin Strange. These are guys that are going to have to step up and do their best to be prepared and get ready for some football. I think Penn State has the weapons. The question is the defense and if they can stop. See, I'm not too sold on Ohio State's defense. So this could be a shootout. I think they got the offense for Penn State. And we know about C.J. Stroud. We know about the Buckeyes. But for both teams, I'll say this, that I think both defenses need to step up when it comes time. You know, I'm hearing a lot of good things about Ohio State. I'm not too much sold on it. And Penn State has been known to have some great defenses, you know, and they bring a lot back in Ellis Brooks and Curtis Jacobs, Joey Porter. Now, they did lose guys like P.J. Mustipher, Tariq Castro Fields. They lost, I think, Brandon Smith. I think Ellis Brooks comes back. But they have some key guys that are going to have to step up and play hard, get to the quarterback. Let me tell you this. Last year, the team in total had 26 sacks for 192 sack yard loss. They had good numbers, but you got to get in that dogfight with one of the best offenses, and you got to step it up. You got to give it your best. Hope it's a night game. Hope it's rocking. Hope it's a crowd. Hope it's ready. You know, at some point, Penn State will take back the Big Ten East. At some point. It's been 6 years. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. Y'all remember that game. You know what I'm talking about. It's been 6 years. I'm going to watch that game and make sure it happens. But don't be surprised if you see some Nittany Lions in blue and white going at it against the Buckeyes in scarlet and gray this upcoming football season.